What if you only ever changed the life of one person? Or managed to change a single human destiny? Just one. Then yours is a life well lived. Because to extend a hand to those you don't know and help them along their journey with spontaneous acts of kindness, unnoticed and perhaps even unremarked, is the most remarkable thing you can do. Sometimes it takes courage. Sometimes something more. But all the good you can do in this life begins with the belief that you can be the change you seek.
No, nothing else matters.
So don't ever stop believing. See how we're making a difference at penmedicine.org. It's another reason why your life is worth Penn Medicine.
Okay, we are back live here on our big broadcast. We are coast to coast and border to border on iHeartRadio. Also AM/FM, 247.com, TuneIn, iTunes, and of course, Brandon Mink joins us today here on our broadcast. And he is amazing. He is the founder of Demand Wealth, financial planning specialist and investing expert. He joins us today talking about robots as financial advisors. Now, I've met a few financial advisors that I thought were robots. But we're going to be chatting today a little bit about this topic. Hybrid advisors are becoming the gold standard in wealth management services, combining technology-driven objectivity with experienced human wisdom. And as technology continues to push the industry forward in meeting client needs, wealth managers must ensure that their investment models have the flexibility to adapt not only in growing wealth and planning, but also reducing costs. And most robo-rebalancing strategies, however, lets the computer program dictate when to rebalance. Is this a mistake? And with us today here on our broadcast is Brandon Mink. He is absolutely amazing, and he is joining us today to elaborate on his Hybrid Robo Investing Structure. As it relates to your financial portfolio, he explains why the winning strategy must be seamless and versatile, as well as the combination of an algorithmic discipline with human experience being paramount to be considered a success. We welcome to the broadcast Mr. Brandon Mink. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. The robots are coming, whether you like it or not.
Yes. You know, that is something that I think people just, you know, people are dealing with COVID and they're doing all this stuff with the presidential election, but as you said, the robots are coming. That's basically how this works.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing because whether people know it or not, it comes down to cost. And the more technology is used for investing, the lower the costs can go, and that's good for the consumer. That's good for the investor.
That's awesome.
I think that there's a long learning curve where they just have to get to the point where they understand what they're paying for, and transparency is a big problem in the wealth management industry.
Brandon Mink with us today. You can get more information, demandwealth.com for more information. Go over to demandwealth.com for more information. How does the hybrid robo investing process work?
Well, first you got to understand what is a robo investment. So I think to start the discussion, just a very brief understanding of what are on the bookmarks. So the bookmarks are the full service firms, the big boys like Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, UBS. And for full service advice, you're basically paying about 1% to get full service advice.
Okay.
They'll help you with Roth IRA conversions. They'll help walk your dog Miffy. They'll, take you flowers on your birthday. But you're paying 1%. So for every $100,000 portfolio, you're paying $1,000 a year for that, and so it's not cheap. On the other end of the spectrum is where you're very limited advice. You're basically doing it yourself at a Vanguard. I'm a big Vanguard fan. I think a lot of investors, if they just got a little more confidence, did some research, there are a lot of investors that should be with Vanguard because you're paying about, on average, 0.15%. So that's $150 for every $100,000.
Wow.
So there's a huge gap, and the gap has been filled by the robos. The most respected robos that are out there today, Betterment and Wealthfront. And what they do is they provide algorithmic investing, very limited advice, and they charge 0.25% or 25 basis points. So $250 for every $100,000 portfolio. But so you see what's happening is there's kind of this dissection between full service and no service, and what are you really getting? So the hybrid is really just where we're using robo technology, so you can open an account without any paperwork. It reduces administrative costs on my end, on the robo end. But on the hybrid side, that's people who still want to know that there's a human being behind the algorithms. There's a human being who's helping them, provide them some advice. So that's the hybrid part of the hybrid robo. And you have a demand wealth that comes in, and we charge 0.5% or 50 basis points. So to us, it's the best of both worlds having the hybrid robo.
That is absolutely fantastic. you have definitely just that explanation there has kind of changed my opinion of this whole thing. You're pretty damn amazing, Brandon, to be able to pull all that off. Why are people so worried about all this?
I think it's just an unknown. I mean, what happens if somebody gets hacked? And it's security. Security is a big issue, right?
Yeah.
So how do they know that their data is secure? Well, it's the same level of encryption that you have at all it's fairly commoditized now, where you're going to have the same level of encryption services. You always want to have 2-factor, 3-factor, 20-factor authentication. Hopefully it never gets to that. But when you have that 2-factor authentication, most people are starting to wrap their arms around the fact that really does eliminate 99% of the security concerns. So there really is just a learning curve. The millennials get it a lot more than the older folks who are retired that probably have more money to manage. But those are the ones who are overpaying the most. It's just because they're used to working in that full service environment. But I think you're seeing a cataclysmic change. Just the amount of assets that have been brought in by Betterment, Wealthfront, Demand Wealth, and others over the last several years has been pretty amazing. So there's certainly people who understand the dichotomy and are leaning more towards that middle of the road. They don't want to do it themselves, but they also don't want to pay an arm and a leg for the fee. So that's where the robos or the hybrid robos have filled the gap.
That's fantastic. We have got a tremendous guest with us today. He joins us live here in our big broadcast. Brandon Mink is with us. If perfected, can this process guarantee more productive portfolios?
Productive is a tricky word. Efficient, yes. And more cost-effective, yes. I mean, unless you have an amazing stock picker. But I've found that the best stock pickers in the world, a lot of times they're very, very few and far between. Sometimes they get lucky. But when you look at the index funds that have been really, Vanguard has been, again, the grandfather of bringing index funds to the market. When you can invest really cheaply, I think costs become more and more and more of a factor. So if you say productive, yes, if you eliminate if you reduce costs, by definition, your portfolio is going to be more productive. More money stays in your pocket.
Fantastic.
So you have to find out exactly how much service do you need. Do you need your dog walking service? I mean, I'm being sarcastic.
Well, yeah.
But I'm sure some advisors would be happy to do that. What's the extent of the service that you need, and how much are you willing to pay for it? So what I would do is just challenge your listeners to just take a closer look to find out what they're paying. A lot of people I've found over my 25 years of doing this, they don't even know what they're paying. At a starting point, just peel back the onion a little bit to find out exactly what you're paying, and then you can go from there to find out if you're getting your money's worth.
That is amazing. It is Brandon Mink. He joins us today here in our broadcast. He is absolutely amazing. I'm glad that we have got a good chat going together with him today. Brandon Mink is a just amazing individual. After a successful 21-year career with large wirehouses, Brandon wanted to develop a digital wealth management firm that utilized technology to help the client experience, but without the label of just another quote-unquote robo. And he has done that over there at demandwealth.com. That's demandwealth.com. So how has investing changed throughout the whole COVID-19 pandemic?
So I'm going to be real careful not to turn this into a political discussion, because when you look at the stock market, we're talking about the stock market, right?
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted a reminder.
No, we're good. We're good, my friend. We're good.
The S&P 500, the stock market is up 7% year to date. So
yes.
Clearly there is, the market kind of prices in what they think are future activities. So the market has priced in a vaccine. I mean, there's no question that the market has priced in a vaccine within the next 12 months. Otherwise, we wouldn't be up 7%. We'd be flat or down, or GDP would be taking a much bigger hit. So it really comes down to where the industry has changed. Airlines, cruise line industry, restaurants, obviously very, very challenged during this time. But, you have the Zoom conferencing and a lot of the technology, social media apps that have done extraordinarily well. So there is a void that was filled. A lot of new companies are filling that void. But once we get past this mess of COVID, I think people are still going to be working from home. I know I am. I have 2 years left on my lease for my team, and I think they'd be very happy to work at home. So I think you're going to see a massive change coming in the commercial real estate sector. But that's
well, and that I've started to read that all over the place. That seems to be the thing that a lot of folks are talking about, is that there is going to be a potential for a commercial real estate apocalypse, as the Drudge Reports put it the other day.
That's accurate.
Brandon Mink with us today. He is fantastic, and he is just a wealth of knowledge. And so, Brandon, before we let you go, how do we find you on social media, websites, get in touch with you, everything?
Go to my website, www.demandwealth.com. You can chat with us. You can email us. It's a fairly interactive site. I would love to hear any feedback. You can email our team at info@demandwealth.com if you have any questions. I will get to that email. I will personally respond to any listeners today who happen to have a follow-up question.
Fantastic. Well, you are amazing. I definitely want to do this again. You are a wealth of knowledge, and I just simply ran out of time. But I do want to talk to you again, so I will be in touch, Brandon. Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you so much. Take care.
Appreciate it. There he goes, Brandon Mink, the fantastic Brandon Mink. And he joins us today here on the big broadcast. And we are going to take a time out. Oh boy, we've got Alan K. Patch coming up. Patches of History!
Listen to what Joe Biden thinks of charter schools.
If I'm president, charter schools are gone.
You heard that right. If Joe Biden gets elected, charter schools will be on the chopping block.
And so the point is, if I'm president, charter schools are gone.
You heard Joe Biden.
Charter schools are gone.
Now spread the word. America's PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by America's PAC and not authorized by any other candidate or committee. America's PAC, 527.com.